All right, so what I want to do something fun today, okay? This is future me, okay? I am in this little, I got on a blue shirt, okay? This is future me. This is past me. And past me, y'all, he made a lot of mistakes, okay? He made a bunch of mistakes. And what I want to do is I want to dissect this battle and like call out all the times that I either said something crazy wrong, did the wrong thing in battle, assumed I understood the battle system when I really didn't, etc., etc. Let's dive in. Nice big juicy fight.
Another boss fight, and he got two. Oh, he jumps. I jumped. Oh, we supposed to dodge that.
All right, so right off the bat, as soon as the video starts, I already got to pause it because I did something stupid. So there's a mechanic in this game, which I'll show on the screen now, where if this icon flashes, you're supposed to jump with the X button and then hit R2 when they tell you to hit R2. And this is a part of a robust battle systems like dodge mechanic. You'll notice like in the bottom left of the screen, you usually see the different variations of dodging, like the different types of dodging you can do. So in this scenario, right, I'm not thinking about like what the enemy's doing. I'm not thinking about like how I should block this or whatever. I'm not even considering the fact that I didn't even see the jump icon. I just assume since he's in the air, like the way I got to defend this is by jumping, right? And that's obviously wrong. So the right way to handle this would have just been to either dodge his booty slaps, perfect dodge his booty slaps, or parry the butt slap. So yes, all right, let's keep going.
I thought we were supposed to do the jump animation thing. Are these weak spots? Nope, he resistant to free aim, but
all right, gotta jump in again, okay? I said a comment there that was like, he's resistant to free aim. And what am I talking about? So free aim is right now, like on the screen, you can see the crosshairs. I'll zoom in a bit. You can see I have crosshairs on the enemy. What's happening right there is like, when you're about to go into a battle, and when it's your turn to strike, you have a choice of doing a few things, right? One thing you can do is just normal attack. Another thing you can do is use items. A third thing you can do is use skills, and a fourth thing you can do is free aim, right? You can just literally shoot at the enemy. And in this case, I shot at the enemy and I saw the word resistant pop up. So I'm like, damn, he must be resistant to free aim. But no, that's not the case. He's actually resistant to ice, which is what my weapon's element damage is. My weapon does ice damage. I have Mael, her weapon does fire damage, right? That's the element that her weapon strikes in. So you'll see a couple of times too throughout this battle and throughout some of the streaming where I see the element icon pop up and I assume that I get that status effect. Like, you know, usually if someone hits you with fire, you can get the status element of burning, right? And that's gonna play a really big deal in this fight too. But it doesn't mean that they're burning just because you see that element. It's just telling you what element your weapon strikes in. And you'll know for sure when someone's burning, and I'll point that out. But here, again, not resistant. This guy, Gobio is not resistant to, and I might be butchering that name, I'm sorry. But Gobio here is not resistant to free aim. He's resistant to the element that my weapon attacks in, which is ice. Okay, so he's resistant to freeze damage. All right.
at least we got a but we ain't got a choice but to do it. All right, let's see if we can do a move on him. He weak against lightning. That's good to know. Maybe I'll do electricity with her. What do electricity get me? It get me 2 colors.
Okay, the name of the move is Electrify, sir. Okay, let's keep going.
Which is good. And then the critical hit gets me, all right, so I'm gonna save that though. Right now we're gonna be in build-up phase.
All right, gotta pause once again because I make a comment here that says that we should be in build-up phase. Now, what I mean by that is we know we're not gonna kill this enemy. So let's just use this opportunity to build up AP, right? You can either do that by doing a normal attack, which always guarantees you 1 AP. But Lune here, I'll show you the move here on the screen. Lune has a move called Thermal Transfer. And Thermal Transfer brags about giving you 4 AP if you do it. And me not reading the move fully through, I'm like, damn, every time I do this move, I get 4 AP, that's lit. That's not the case though. The enemy actually has to be burning first in order for you to get that AP, right? So this enemy ain't burning. Gobio is very cool right now. I've been hitting him with nothing but ice attacks this whole game. So he's definitely not burning. And we can tell he's not burning because his name doesn't have this burn symbol next to it, which I'll show you guys a little later in the video. But I basically just wasted that. What I should have did there is I should have used this move here, this wildfire move. Now what that would have did is fire damage, but it also would have guaranteed that my enemy was burning after this attack. Obviously, it was a mistake to use this move because now I've missed a combo rotation opportunity, right? So, all right, let's keep going.
All right, and then for her, we obviously gonna just get her started.
Okay. All right, gotta pause it again. Okay. Mistakes galore. That's why I chose this battle. So I made a comment there. I said, let's just get her started. And I used a move called Swift Stride. And the reason I say get her started is because Mael has a really cool rotation that she can do, right? And rotations in RPG games usually means that I can do a combo that, you know, works kind of hand in hand with the moves I do. I do one move, another move, and then by the end of that rotation, I can start the sequence again, right? And keep assuming mass damage. However, in order to get her started, you use the Swift Stride attack here, which you can see would put me in virtuose stance. And then from there, I could gain enough AP to do this other move, Fury, which would allow me to get massive damage without taking me out of virtuose stance. So your goal would be to do Swift Stride to get into virtuose stance, do your most damaging virtuose stance attack, and stay in virtuose stance, and then with the remaining AP of your rotation, you do Perce, right? Which is another mass damage attack if you're in virtuose stance, okay? I wasn't in virtuose stance, and the reason I wasn't in virtuose stance is because my enemy is not burning. The only way Swift Stride puts you in virtuose stance is if your enemy is burning, okay? And as we can see, my enemy is clearly not burning. So this entire rotation, not just for Mael, but for everyone in this party, they all missed damage opportunities, right? That's why our enemy's health is still so high. That's why we barely scratched the surface of this battle, because we're missing these really obvious big opportunities for damage and combos. All right, let's keep going. All right, and then that second swipe caught me off guard.
Swipe, that was easy. That was easy. Just a little two swipe. I guess for him right now, what we need to do is just focus on regular attacks. She got 5, so she ready to do her Thunderfall, which is her strongest.
So while this wasn't a horrible move because it is her strongest attack and he's weak against thunder, my enemy is still not burning, right? So my enemy's defenseless right now, which means I get a damage buff, but my enemy's still not burning, which means everybody else that needs burning to start their rotation, even Lune also needs burning to start her rotation. I'm missing that opportunity, right? With the one person that can guarantee burn. So if my enemy's not burned by the time Lune is on the screen and I have 4 AP or more, I should always be doing a move that would trigger burn. It's gonna come back around to her to do lightning in another turn somewhere, right? So another missed opportunity here, but I did get some good damage with this move. I think it was like 700 damage or something. All right, let's keep.
Lightning attack. Oh, that timing is so tricky. That was like 600 damage total though.
Yeah, 600 damage.
She got 5. I'm gonna go ahead and do her, oh, she needs 6 for it. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it and do this for right now. Growing flowers. Oh, what do those do? Can I attack them? Yeah, they definitely, no, they don't attack. He attacks. I don't know what these flowers do though, but let's see if I can. Nope, I can't attack them. So he got 3 right now. I'm not gonna spend anything yet. I think I'm gonna just keep letting him build up AP. Oh, I should have did power for him. All right, that last one took.
A big part of this game is this defensive dodge mechanic. the developers of this game are brilliant, by the way, by doing this. But what they do is when you're in the middle of attack animation, unless you know what the attack is going to be, you have to kind of guess the timing. So oftentimes, until you've done the battle enough times, or at least you've gone through that attack sequence enough times, you're going to press the button a little too early, because when an enemy jumps in the air and they're on an arc, you have a sense of timing in your head that says they're just going to jump and then they'll land. But what they do in this game that I think is so interesting is at the peak of that arc, they may speed it up, or they may slow it down, or they may trick you into thinking that he's gonna jump to sit on you, but really he might just be jumping to get in front of you, and then he quickly slaps you, right? So the timing is really interesting in such a way where it's like you're not gonna get this on the first try, right? This game is designed to have you play these battles, or at least go through these attack sequences multiple times, really paying attention to what the name of the attack is at the top of the screen, and then B, what that character, what his animation is, what their animation is when they're actually doing the attack. So, and then that's where your dodging gets a lot easier and it becomes a lot more helpful. But other than that, you're just going to be getting butt slapped or slapped with the butt throughout this battle, which you'll see I get slapped with the butt a lot in this battle.
A very long time. I think I can parry that too and do something about it. But I would have to parry all three of them. So she got 2. I'm gonna go ahead and just do a regular attack for her. I don't think nobody need to be healed just yet.
So just real quick, instead of doing that regular attack, I should have did her fire attack. It only costs 2 AP. I could have did that.
Let's spill some ink.
She got 8. Let's do our move. Triangle.
Look at this, what a waste. I'm not in Virtuose stance. The enemy's not burning. So even if I wanted to build up to Virtuose, like I just basically wasted 6 AP here.
Oh, but that's better to do when you in Virtuoso stance.
Oh, now he gets it.
So he absorbs the flower's powers. Oh, and it gives him 2,
Get ready.
all right.
There we go.
Right, I got a good, nice little parry, but it didn't do nothing but take away one of his, so that's fine. So now he's at 5. Let's go ahead and do our shatter.
This is actually one of the right moves to do.
She's at 4. I already did thermal transfer. Let's do immolation.
So here, this is such an interesting decision by me, right? So immolation costs 2 AP to do, which is fine, right? I have a blue stain, which will increase the damage of immolation, fine. However, I could have gotten way more damage with wildfire. I would have gotten the increased damage buff because I have a blue and a light. And wildfire, I think if you have 2 blues, you get increased damage. Plus, I would have guaranteed a burn ailment to the enemy. So yeah, immolation, it was not a horrible decision because it's going to guarantee burn. However, there was a better decision that I could have made there.
So that now we can do the combo that requires her to have the blues. For her right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna do swift stride so I can get in virtuoso stance. Then I'm gonna save up till I get 6.
Notice how I did per se here instead of swift stride. That's just me not really paying attention to the game, like UI, to the HUD here. First of all, my stance, my current stance is always present in the far right. And then also the move wheel that pops up kind of shows you that there's 2 pages of moves, right? There's the first page that you land on, and then if you hit R2, you can head over to the second page of moves. So here I press square, thinking I was gonna do the second page, the R2 and then square, right? That's where I have that pinned to. But instead I do per se here, not even noticing that I just made the mistake. So my enemy's burning, and I am obviously, if you look in the far right, I obviously just got popped into defensive stance, right? So great job, past me. You are doing fantastic. At this rate, you'll beat this boss in about 2 hours. Okay.
I gotta stay in virtuoso stance though.
So yeah, you see what I mean by the timing?
Missing that timing. So for him, I'm just gonna do overcharge when I can, but I can't right now. So I am just going to attack. I'm gonna heal with her. She got 4. I'm gonna do healing light with her, and I'm gonna give it to him. Okay, and then all right, nice little parry, and that's how she did some decent damage.
I think another thing I need to keep in mind is that every time I do these parries, I gain an AP.
Okay. All right, she back in defensive stance. She only got 4. I need to make sure she gets in virtuoso stance. So we're gonna keep doing swift.
And it's not virtuoso. I kept saying that during this stream. It's actually virtuose stance.
And then for him, he is overcharged again. He never got to use it. All right, got both of them. Ooh, 2,600. Let's go. So he's no longer stunned. She got 4. I think it's time for her to do some moves. So she has 2 lights. So that means my wildfire would do some really good damage. However, lightning is what he's weak against. So actually, let me see what this thermal transfer is about. Low ice damage, 2 hits, gains 4 AP. So this is, I think this means no matter what, you get 4 AP for this. So let's find out. We got 4 right now. If we do this move and we get 4 more AP, then that's how it works.
I literally just had to read the rest of that sentence and I didn't. So now instead of me having the stains that I needed, the light stains that I needed to get the blue damage, I've now picked up lightning stains instead. So yeah, just missed an entire combo sequence there.
If we get 6, no, we only got 1. Oh, but our turn came right back to us. That's interesting. So this is really saying, oh, you gain 4 AP if the target is burning.
Now he gets it.
Which our target was not burning. Now our target's burning. So all right, our target is burning. Let's do something that, if they burning, something crazy happens. So this is the one where, okay, Swift Stride. This is when you use Swift Stride, because this says that.
So for the record, okay, before I read what Swift Stride says, I was not aware that this card in the far right was telling me what my current stance was. Like an idiot, I was assuming that whenever I use a move, I just have to predict what my stance was. Right? We could clearly see not just what stance I'm in, we could see in that far right card that it also shows how much damage increase I'll do. So by doing Swift Stride, I still get the benefit of the plus 200% damage. But what you'll see here is I'm about to do Swift Stride again. And one of her traits is that if she's in a virtuose stance already, and she does another attack that puts her in virtuose stance again, she'll just go stanceless, which you'll see here is what's going to happen again, basically preventing me from being able to actually do this combo rotation, which is so much damage that I'm leaving on the table here. So much damage, making this fight way harder than it needed to be.
You can automatically switch to virtuoso if the target's burning. So we have not been paying attention to that. All right, so the target was burning.
And if you notice there, the blinking you miss it moment, you can kind of see I switched back to stanceless just then.
All right, so it's just gonna waste this turn on the flower regeneration. Grows many flowers. So he's about to get really strong. All right, maybe we can prevent him from getting really strong. I say we just do some attacks. She only got 2. Yeah, we gotta build up. Oh wait, but she got a fire, so she can actually do this. Yep, because he was burning. So, and he's still burning. Oh,
that was so lucky.
Oh man, that was scary.
That was so lucky.
Oh man, that was scary. He would have gotten crinushed. Okay, so she is in virtuoso stance now. No, she stanceless.
So now I finally realize it.
So if I do this move right here, I lose 3 of my. Actually, I'm just gonna do a regular attack. I'm gonna get her up to, oh man, this is so tough. I need something that'll get her more AP. And this it says if I'm in Virtuoso stance, it only costs 2 to do Pierce. So what I should do, just to get this combo in, I should do Swift Stride now, and then on the next turn do, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. On the next turn I'm gonna do Pierce.
And I did fair say once again, I did the exact same thing I did last time, where I just hit square instead of going over to the second menu.
He only got that. Okay, so I'm gonna do Marking Shot. Yeah, I'm gonna do Marking Shot here. That's his weakness. And then for her, she got 5, so I'm gonna do Thunderbolt.
Thunderfall.
All right, got it. Yep.
And of course that
first
takes
try,
him
baby. Let's go! Let's go!
Patting myself on the back for that awful
that dude
sequence.
didn't play around, man.
Oh man, that sequence was so bad. All right, but that was a lot of fun for me to kind of recap, just revisiting that as I was trying to make some content and seeing just how many times not only did I do the wrong thing in a battle, but you could just tell I had a obvious misunderstanding of the systems that each of these characters played under. Right, I felt like I knew what I was doing and I was going into these sequences confidently. But looking back at it in retrospect, I consistently throughout that entire battle made the wrong decision. Almost every step of the way, I kept making the wrong decision. And I think what's going to make me a much better Clair Obscur battle player going forward is being able to acknowledge that, seeing where I made mistakes, and then obviously trying not to make those same mistakes going forward. So tune in to the next stream, see if I've gotten any better, and if you guys see anything that I also did wrong here but future me didn't even catch, please feel free to call it out. Please no spoilers though. I don't love spoilers. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments what you think about the game, the soundtrack, and all the awesome stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.